What's up, Vigo's Court? I am your judge, Judge Vader, and I am joined by Counselor Q today. You may have noticed we had Counselor Shep on the intro, but we have Counselor Q here.
What it do? What it do? Let's start. Well, I wouldn't say starting off week 8, but we're kicking off the weekend officially. And a really good matchup to look forward to. I'm really excited for this one. I feel like this is two teams who have kind of really fell into their own in the middle of the season and have really kind of found some really good team chemistry. And I'm really excited to see how this one plays its way out.
I would agree. I'll go ahead and say that I've also noticed that for Remedy, I see Jazzy as the killer, and we are familiar with Jazzy for sure. We've seen Jazzy in this role, so will definitely be a fun one to watch. I am looking for our survivors. Never mind, our survivors found me first. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a fun one for sure. Definitely,
it's a fun matchup, and it's one of my favorite maps to play on, honestly.
And you know, you just you were slightly ahead of me because I was about to go there actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just have to say, like,
no, you're good, man, you're good. You were already at the map before I got there. You know, just going ahead and get me a table where at Dead Dog Saloon, because that's where we're going. That is definitely the home map of the Hookers. Definitely at the grave of Glenville. Definitely a really good map, especially knowing that here at Vigo's we do make sure that the basement is always in the killer shack.
Yep.
It's actually pretty nice for killers. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, I like that on Dead Dog. I feel like on Dead Dog there aren't a lot of killers that are off the table, right? And this is definitely a map where some of your weaker killers can still shine very strong. Like one of the first ones that comes to mind, by the way, your Discord's showing.
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Nope, you're good. Just letting you know.
I was gonna message Rambo because he's not muted right now in the Discord.
Oh, gotcha. But one thing I was gonna say, like that's good, is like this is like a map where Wraith can kind of shine. You know, it's one of the maps where like your M1s can still put a lot of damage out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, yeah, I don't think that we're going to see lots of necessarily ranged killers. I think we will see high mobility killers that do try to kind of mind game you with the M1. I believe that's what we'll see, and really that's what you kind of fear on Dead Dog, isn't it? So should be really fun to see.
One that I noticed that both teams have available that I have become a big fan of here recently is Cenobite. Thoughts?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm a big fan of Cenobite. Actually, pretty funny. We haven't seen a lot of Cenobite, so I didn't have a lot of opportunity to see a Cenobite really.
Well, that's because comp players are creatures of habit and Cenobite's new, so.
Oh, 100%. But I mean, comp players also have latched onto Artist, but they didn't latch onto Cenobite the same way they're latching onto Artist.
I think that's because Cenobite was I would say unfairly kind of given this title of like being easily destroyed by Swifts. So of course then you think comp, you know, you got teams who are in communications. But I think what we have seen when Cenobite does come out, especially when it's players who have a good concept of where is the box going, knowing the spawn kind of mechanics and that, keeping teams constantly in the chain hunt, you can put out a lot of pressure.
Yeah, definitely. And like that's what we've definitely seen as well. I even had several killers use it in practice, and it's like, oh wow, no, that's actually really easy to get pressure, and you get more value even out of your totems from a pinhead. And so definitely it is an adjustment that survivors have to make, and having not seen very many Cenobites, you can catch a lot of teams off guard with that pick.
Yeah, and it's funny because another name that kind of comes up when you think of newer killers that can still be very strong. We did bring up this killer when I was on the desk with Salt yesterday. We unfortunately did not see it, but I feel like this could be another map where like Nemesis could bring out and still put out some power down too.
Oh, 100%. Nemesis is actually who I was gonna say we've seen do well on this map, and like that would have been contrary to like where I was saying I think we'll see a lot of high mobility. Definitely with Jazzy, you know that high mobility is what Jazzy likes to run, right?
Right.
I think Nemesis would be a very good pick.
Especially because you have to break down all the breakable walls and you have that ability, right?
Exactly. It's just soon as you can get to tier 2, it's really easy to just pressure everything out. The zombies also don't tend to get stuck on things. Every structure is pretty regular shaped. There aren't trees or anything for them to walk into and then get stuck.
Yeah.
So you get more value
like
out of it.
Rounded kind of structure in the field, which allows them to not get caught. Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, obviously there's RNG factor to the zombies, but there's also, I feel like there's this fact that they put out some pretty good consistent pressure, even though you don't always notice it. You never know when they're pushing people off of, a gen, or pushing people off of a heal and delaying a heal process because they're getting away from zombie. And those are costly seconds in comp, right?
Yeah, they are, honestly. And you do end up seeing whoever has the flashlight when Nemi is there, you end up seeing a lot of blinded zombies. So I do think that there definitely is some more use for the flashlight person, because we don't see that many flashlight saves within comp, right? That's why it's such a big deal when we do see a flashlight save.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so I think any of those gens that are pressured by a zombie, that's where you're trying to get your flashlight user to it. And I've seen teams like Six go ahead and actually do just that. Like they'll go ahead and have whoever has the flashlight is where the zombies are.
Yeah, and with the last killer that I want to talk about, and actually with that killer we're going to talk about, huge shout out to somebody we have in the chat. We've got a legend, one of the goats, really. We got Nightlight in here hanging out with us, and I'd have to agree, Plague on this map can be very deadly. Neither team has picked them at all yet this season, so you wouldn't be consuming those killer picks. Might not be surprised to see a Plague pulled out here too.
I don't know that Jazzy pulls a Plague here, though. I mean, I'm trying to think of like the killers I know Jazzy has in their arsenal. Which
I'm not saying for trial number 1, but I'm just saying over the course of the matchup, though. That's a killer I think we look out for.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, though, we are just about ready to get into the first match. We are loading in right now, so we will confirm we have the offerings we need to have, and then we're gonna be all set to go. And I don't know about you, Q, but I can't wait.
Oh, I'm excited. It's I've already had a very awesome, fun-filled day. We had a good day over on the DBE desk today, and I'm just excited for another fun 4 trials here. I'm excited. I'm anticipating this thing to be where we don't know the decision till the 4th trial. So
yeah, I expect the same. So we'll figure out here soon. But we did see all of the offerings we needed to see, so definitely let's review how the killer scores. And as you can see, the killer scores by those hook points, progressions being worth 1 less point for each of those hook states. 7th and 8th progression would be worth 1 point each, and if you can get a 4K, you would gain 2 additional points. Any entity kills, such as an endgame collapse, would be the corresponding hook state, plus the progressions. Unlike a Mori, such as a pig head pop, that would result in just the corresponding hook. Bleed outs are worth 0 points, so that leaves us with 30 points available, and we're going right in, and hey,
yeah,
it's a Cenobite.
buddy. Let's get down to it. Let's take another trip back into the fog. Jazzy out on the Cenobite. You love to see it. Of course, the big thing here you will see already while we're in first chase, our survivors are already on the box. That's going to be a big thing that you're going to see with the communication. Every time that box is up, probably as soon as we see a chase start, you're going to see them go and start playing with that thing.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be an interesting thing to see. And this is actually kind of it's a different style killer than from what I'm used to seeing Jazzy play. So it'll be interesting to see how Jazzy does with Cenobite.
Yeah, I know that Jazzy's obviously known for being more of like the priority on the high mobility killers, but Jazzy has shown us time and time again to have a very diverse killer pool. So I'm not super surprised as far as seeing the Cenobite come out, especially because I think the Cenobite makes a lot of sense on this pick, on this map. Sorry, we do see though getting the hook already here on B Orange. That's going to be before the first hook pops. That's even going to be here with about 45 seconds left on the corrupt intervention. Now here actually finding two survivors, interrupting them here on the gen. Going to be able to get the application with the M2, should be able to get the M1, but actually just able to get past the vault. This is going to be really big if you can get yourself a nice quick down here while they're still rotating for that hook. You could be in such a good position in the mid game.
Yeah, definitely with that gen near us not even popping yet, and it doesn't look like we're going to kick it, and I'm gonna go ahead and say we don't have ruin, so we're probably okay letting that gen go if we're Jazzy, as it would be the first gen, and we're just trying to gain as much pressure as possible. But look at the resets coming in.
Yeah, resets coming in very quick. We do see generator number one. And also a very nice work there with our M2 ability. Going to get the nice lunge through the pallet space and still being affected by those change is B Orange. Keep in mind, B Orange is the one who was just up on the hook. So that does mean you would have the ability to be on hook number two on a survivor, having them just already one hook away from being out of the game. And now they're down. The only question is, do you have a D strike to worry about here?
Yeah, potentially. I don't think you can. They were healing the other survivor.
I mean, we can maybe assume. We don't know for sure, but yeah, that might have been what happened, right? Because they were the two that were over there were the ones that did get healed. We do see Jazzy though. Looks like you can probably assume trying to wait out a timer here, taking some time, breaking down the doors, breaking down the pallet, getting rid of those resources here. Two gens down, but I mean, honestly, in a really good spot here. This is going to be hook number two. You are going to be right here by that generator that was covered by the deadlock, and you can actually hear not too much progress on that gen, which means you know that there's probably a good chance that not too many gens are worked on right now.
Yeah, and definitely Claudette trying to do whatever she can here to avoid the hit. Unfortunately, not able to avoid the hit, but look, we're coming back. We're tunneling out B Orange here. We're trying to get him as soon as possible, get the first elimination.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense, right? Like, anybody who plays the game knows how different the game feels as soon as it goes from a 4v1 down to a 3v1, which is why it's so weird that you have some people out here doing experiments to see if tunneling is more effective or not. But there's going to be an M1 here onto the Michaela, now taking chase into the main building. We did talk about how this can be a relatively strong tile for some survivors, but we've already broken off a couple of the doors across here, which does mean you have the ability to secure the down, but instead breaking chase, which is kind of an interesting choice in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think it makes sense, especially because you have Claudette over here, but she had balanced landing, so definitely lucky for her, she's able to get some distance. They're able to avoid chain hunt here, so definitely that's kind of what you want from the survivor side. On the killer side, you're still feeling okay. I mean, 3 gens, you've already got 2 hooks, they're all on the same survivor. Probably want to find orange.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing right now that you also have that has worked in your advantage is you haven't ever had a chain hunt active, right? Because that's really when Pinhead is the strongest, because then you can't really work on gens, and even though you don't have ruin, you would still be able to get any progress on those things. Here though, you do now get it down onto Mac, and I think Mac would be a fresh hook here, so at least you're spreading your pressure here a little bit. You do see moving that survivor over to the Gallows side of the map, as we do see a three, well, I was going to say a 3 gen is still intact, but that's actually going to be generator number 3 popping in. We actually see this generator has a whole bunch of progress on it as well.
Yeah, and we found our other survivor too. So this is our ace. This is orange. This is not good. This is not what you wanted.
Yeah, now we're going to be taking chase again. We're still working on this front side of the saloon. We do still have the door that is broken out, which still gives you a little bit of a longer loop here. We do see our survivor kind of hanging around in that area that will cause Jazzy to break chase here. Really nice use of the M2 to get the direct application here. Does slow Cheryl down enough to be able to get the M1. You weren't quite able to force Shack Pallet, unfortunately, but by not forcing Shack Pallet, you do change a health state, which means they'll probably be retreating to get a health state change. And actually, you see them on the box right now. I'm not sure if Jazzy sees that, because this would be a really good time to turn around and basically reignite and chase with somebody who's injured.
Yeah, and I think that was a little bit of a missed opportunity, right? But I mean, trying to go ahead and put pressure down on this survivor. These survivors are playing it right in trying to get the resets as fast as possible, and these gens are flying.
Yeah, and I mean, I think right here we are seeing a good example of why some people, I think, feel that Pinhead kind of struggles against the Swifts, because the biggest thing that's caused the delay, or I should say the non-existence of the chain hunt, has been very good communication from our survivors here, not only just in their chases, but being able to rotate and get that box as soon as they can whenever our killer's in chase here. Nice down though here around the pallet. Now you can't help but wonder though if you are able to get the survivor up in time before our survivors rotate to that box.
I mean, to the box or the or finish the last gen. I mean, honestly, there's the last gen. I didn't think that they were going to be going for box yet, because if you look at that chain hunt timer over there on the left, it was only like 25% of the way there. Generally, teams aren't rotating to try to find it until 50%.
Yeah, the only reason I wonder is if somebody happened to be just close enough to it because it was a smaller map, would have been my only thought. Just because you can probably anticipate, kind of like we do see here, the No Way Out as well as the NOED, the combo here, now going to be taking chase around our water tower here, and the chains will prevent B Orange from being able to revault that pallet. That's going to be another down here.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because this is death hook for Orange. I think they saw before being able to get the teleport off, or can we teleport? No teleport.
I feel like there you might have, oh man, I don't know. I feel like that's one where you might have actually been able to. However, we do see Jazzy making a smart play here and checking where that totem is, because of course Jazzy does have that information. A very unfortunate door split though, as we do see there's going to be a very good chance that our survivors are split amongst the two doors, but you can hope that maybe you can find one of your fresh hook survivors here.
Yeah, and for sure, our survivors, I mean, they've got to be playing immersed right now and trying to get out. And look at this. Oh, no. This is a survivor that hasn't been hooked that's over here.
Yeah, that's tough. Cheese, you mentioned it, is literally the one survivor that Jazzy would really like to find. And there Cheese is, the one that has 3 stages that you can get in the end game, which would really be able to help you out with the stages that you've gotten thus far. There's the down. We don't hear anything else going on at that door behind us, which probably means Jazzy's just going to rotate this survivor to the far side away from that door. I wonder, though, if our other survivors are at the other door prepping that thing yet.
Yeah, I think that they probably are at that other door. That would be what I would do. I think that's the right play, especially as Jazzy's not likely to leave. With the amount of progressions that Jazzy would have, I think that would result in a tie with a 2 out or a 1-point Jazzy win. So I don't think you're inclined to leave.
So you think they're probably looking for their no? Do you think they're sticking around trying to find this Noed since you have the hang time here?
Oh, no, sorry. I meant I don't think that Pinhead's inclined to leave this hook. I think that the survivors need to leave.
Yeah, I would agree that Jazzy is going to stay here. However, we do see the Noed getting cleansed. Here's the good news: is both of your survivors right now, you would basically once this progression happens, you're basically, or if you can get the save before the progression, I should say, you're basically just trading spots. But you could potentially be making a play at the exit. We do see Claudette hanging around, probably waiting for our second survivor here, not going to be able to make it in time before second stage is forced. Now we do see an M1 applied to both survivors here. That is going to be a down. Now on to Assassin, the very quick 1-for-1 trade. I like that play here by Jazzy. Definitely make sure you get what you need. Now you probably just force these survivors out the door.
You know, interestingly enough, though, Chain Hunt started. So that was the whole misplay there. Chain Hunt is actually what was holding them, and like what kept Claudette from getting the save when LED went and took the hit, or not LED, Michaela.
LED, Michaela, the one there, the one lady.
The lady with the orange hair. The cosmetic looks similar, okay? There are only a few that have orange hair, and that was one of them.
I mean, but honestly, still a very strong performance. I would say, with as quick as that first down came in, our survivors did a very good job of kind of fighting back in that mid game and almost kind of, I would say, taking a little bit of control heading into that late game, which is rather impressive to watch, really.
Yeah, I think that for sure, if you're Remedy right now, you feel really good about where you got at the end there. You ended up coming out with a 3-point lead, and I think if you took that 2 out before, I actually think that it only is like maybe it's only a 2-point lead, maybe it's a wash. It's not that crazy, right? But well, because did they beat the progression out, or they didn't beat the progression out, did they?
No, you didn't beat the progression. I think that was
that's a
the
bad
big
trade.
Well, and I think that was the thing, right? You had noticed that the Michaela got there literally just a second too late. And otherwise, I think you would have been fine. And that's kind of what I was saying there, is even if you trade and you get the 1-for-1, it's basically the same thing with the what's the best way of putting it? With the chance of instead maybe still getting the 3 out, right? You take the risk of one additional hook if it means potentially getting one escape.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, with the result that we saw, as you can see, our score did get updated. We did have a progression that wasn't counted yet on there, so we were a little early telling the score there. But it's 13-18, so it's actually a 5-point difference, and I mean that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, but of course that is coming out on the killer side. I mean, you do have more points available, right? So, doing what you are kind of supposed to do. I would say the survivors, though, again, did a very good job of managing, especially after the early down. I would say more so, especially because they did a very good job of always being on top of preventing the chain hunt.
Right. I think, late game they didn't prevent the chain hunt, of course, but I think that was just because they were more pressed for time. What am I doing here? I'm trying to invite, but instead I pulled up my perk loadout, and look at that. It's as if I'm trying to prepare to play. I'm not playing right now.
I mean, no. If anybody needs a last second, he said no.
No. I'm gonna stop you right there, Chief. Nah. Let me see. I'm trying to find. There we go.
So the good news, though, I would say for hookers, I feel like you're in a very manageable position in the sense of you're going into the back-to-back killer set here with only a 5-point deficit. I mean, you can make that back very quickly here with the back-to-back killer games.
Yeah, you definitely can. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. Orange is a very good killer, so Orange can bring this all the way back. Now, do you think we see a Cenobite for Cenobite?
Um, I think right now that would rely on the fact of were you planning on Cenobite? We had talked about Cenobite for both teams had not been picked. I wouldn't be surprised. I think with only having a 5-point deficit after one game, I don't think you switch up whatever your current, but you know what I mean? Like whatever your game plan was, it's not like you feel like there's any extra pressure. So I would still put Cenobite on the list of killers that we can see. Just because I feel like we saw there part of the reason, even if you don't have your main power being the chain hunt, it's still a small enough map that you're okay just being a basic M1 killer because it's a map where M1 killers still have the ability to shine, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I think I don't know. I had somebody I thought I saw in the chat say this would be a good doctor map. I think you could
I don't disagree.
Yeah, you could get a lot of shocks off and really get a lot of good information. I don't know what are their killer uses for doctor. I don't think I expect to see a doctor here.
It would so Remedy has already expired it, so if we were to see it, it would have to be from from hookers, but that would be them deciding that they are going to be consuming their doctor
completely. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair. I don't know that they would do that right here, but who's to say that they won't? Should be interesting to see. I still really like the Nemi pick, though. Honestly, I think this is just a really good Nemesis map. But granted, that's coming from somebody who I've really been enjoying Nemesis lately. Like I think I told you about it. I was trying Pain Resonance on various killers, and I found Pain Resonance was like most effective on Nemesis.
So I feel like Nemesis is one of those killers that once you've kind of start to fall into them, I've noticed a lot of killers really enjoy getting to know the ins and outs, especially because you can kind of learn to push survivors into your zombies, which adds a whole nother layer of fun, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And man, this is... yeah, this would definitely be the map to use Nemesis, I think. I know.
I feel like Nemesis is underrated right now. I feel like he is a killer that could be a top performer on a lot of maps, though, for real.
I mean, as long as I think a lot of people talk about Nemi not being able to get power early enough, right? Similar to like an Oni, but you can get power off your zombies, so it's like an Oni that can't completely be starved of power.
Well, right, and also in the Oni, in the sense of the Oni, once you get your power, you don't lose it.
Right.
Know? It's not the same power spike, obviously, as an Oni sense, but like, really, all you need is tier 2. And I always hear, like, I understand when I hear the concept of, there's 4 vaccines, so people can make it longer by vaccinating earlier and stuff. But if they're doing that, then they're taking time away from gens, and that's still a win, right?
Yep.
Like
that plus the zombies. Yep, it does 100%. Part of me is looking ahead to like next season of Egos, going, are we gonna see Pain Resonance be allowed? And if we do, I think you'll see some killers that may not have been as strong benefit more from Pain Resonance.
Yeah, I think Pain Resonance will be an interesting one. I think the worry with Pain Resonance is you try, and I know it's funny because I'm going to say you try to avoid RNG from your perks, knowing that Ruin is a very meta killer perk. But other than that, you try to avoid your RNG perks. And I feel like with Pain Resonance, like you don't want to take extra time if you need to, right? So if it means I hook them here, or I have to walk over there and hook them over there, and in comp, I'm hooking them where it makes sense because bro, I got stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I'm not quite sure if that's. I don't think it'll be banned by any means, but I'm not sure if it'll be. I don't know if it's meta shifting, kind of like the way Deadlock was.
Maybe. I don't know if you caught the match yesterday, but we saw 3 or 4 gens pop within 30 seconds, and Deadlock was in play, and all 4 of them went in 30 seconds.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying. They knew what they were doing. 6 was out here doing it, dude. For sure, these survivors are scoring by finishing those gens, you know, trying to counter that Deadlock. Definitely so they could get that escape, because those escapes are worth quite a few points. As you can see here, first and second escape are worth 1 and 2 points respectively, but the third and fourth escape combined for 10 points, which is close to half of the available points for the survivors, being 26 points available to them. And we're gonna go right into the match. Let's see who we got. It's a Blight.
Very interesting to see the Blight come out here. I wonder if that is a situation of kind of feeling, if you're the hookers, that you need to come out and set the tone here because you're in a situation where you got to win out. I'm intrigued by this pick.
You know, I think I don't hate this pick.
I don't hate it by any stretch of the means. I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah, I actually like this pick better than like some of the other maps we've seen Blight on, like specifically within like Autohaven Wreckers. We just see the collision have some issues, right? Ooh, Jazzy going ahead and showing, oh, I know the timing to be able to stun a Blight. Come on, I'm a Blight main.
Yeah, and I mean, that is going to be big here. We are going to see a pre-throw, though, onto our next pallet here. We are going to see, you will notice on your scene, a little bit of an aura reading. That is going to be, of course, from that compound, plus is that the Blighted Crow is the green one, right? Yeah, Blighted Rat is the yellow.
Yep.
But Blighted Crow here. So you are going to have a combo of the speed plus the help with the aura. And I feel like even though double speed is the most, I would say the most frequent combo we see, this is definitely number 2.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it's a pretty good combo to prevent from a Survivor just mind gaming you around loops.
Yeah, well, I almost wonder though too, since it is a smaller map, if you figure you might as well go ahead and get your information collection, knowing that you do have a lot more of these like kind of tighter, more filler palettes like the ones we're working in here. It is interesting though. Yeah, you're taking chase in the corrupt side of the map, which is normally what you like to do as a survivor early on. But man, can't help but point out that we have really turned this corner of the map into a dead zone.
Yeah, and that's beneficial for our Blight, as long as if Blight would turn and look that direction. I believe that's a 3-gen area as it currently stands. Really loose, but Blight could pressure it. Ooh, we do get the hit.
Yeah, really nice curve here, able to get the hit around the area. Now, it is interesting. I feel like since you have the dead zone in the corner, I'm kind of interested to see why Bjorn is not actually going back to that corner and continuing to put pressure there. Wondering if maybe your thought process is to now come to this side of the map while you still have some time and deplete resources here, or what?
I think it's either that or, oh no, you're being outran, Blight. That doesn't happen often, does it?
No, but life is indeed life. We do see indeed why right there. Now doubling back though after the hit, which I do like this play. Of course, we are now going to be moving more towards this corner of the map where there isn't currently any objective work to be worked on, but a little bit of a, I would say probably just a little bit of a hesitation vaulting there, jumping right into the Blight's lap, and now that is going to be hook number 2.
Yeah, and for sure, I agree with you. I think that was maybe just a little hesitation, and then they vaulted when I don't think they should have. And only reason I say that is, like, if you get Blight to come up there, you probably have some time to try to gain a little distance. Instead, you vault right into his arms almost.
Yeah, now we are gonna see here taking chase. Man, now it can't help but notice we haven't seen gens pop in just a little bit of time. And actually, as I say it, of course, Commander's Curse. There is gonna be generator number 3 getting popped here. There's gonna be now a hit onto Jazzy here, as we do also see a reset across the way here. So you know that you've got a couple of survivors being busy on things other than generators themselves. Now going to be trying to get a little bit of that compound value, not quite able to get the flick around the actual area or around the pallet itself. Really, if you're Bjorn, you need to take some time, get these last couple pallets out of the area, because if I'm not mistaken, that only leaves 1 or 2 more left up around the area. That is going to be another one, though, that is dropped right onto your face. More distance being broken here, as we do see generator number 4 getting done, but luckily Jane did run right into the front of your view. Now taking chase, unfortunately, though, Claudette coming right in for a very nice body block.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw Jazzy rotate back, almost as if to allow them to go forward and try to get more distance to waste more of Orange's time. Just really smart plays from these survivors.
Yeah, the survivors are doing a very good job, but they just always seem to be rotating to the area where they're able to have the most use of their resources. It just seems that's why you don't mind pre-throwing, right? Because you have that communication, nice little moonwalk there, able to give just a little bit of a indecision maybe from the survivor, not quite able to get the flick though. Still just enough distance should be made there here by our killer. Now going to be getting a down here in the middle of your map. Only 2 stages thus far. Really need to be able to compound some pressure here in the end game, as we do see generator number 5 being complete. Also worth noting on the right side of the screen, no Ed, meaning that our team does not have to worry about a simple M1.
Yeah, and that's definitely excellent news for our survivors, because not having to worry about it takes a load of stress off your back.
Yeah, things are tough here because right now, you can kind of try and sit here and secure your hook state, but we have 3 survivors that can be just walking out the door. That's 1, 2, and 4 points, respectively. That's a lot of escape points that we're allowing to leave out. I feel like this is part of the reason that we've kind of talked about multiple times through the season, the hesitation of bringing out some of your S tiers on maps where they're not really used to being able to flex your S tier, right?
Right, for sure. And I mean, I think that part of this comes down to, I mean, Jazzy played really well, not getting hooked at all, really, by Orange. But Jazzy did a really good job in chase, only taking an injury, healing up, and then another injury.
So that is going to, honestly, really worth noting. That's just really impressive to see from our survivors. They're just really kind of being able to keep the momentum that Jazzy built for you in trial number 1 and being able to keep that going on the survivor side here, especially knowing that you can basically set your killer up for a very easy win condition in trial 4 if you repeat what you just did in trial 2 and trial 3.
Oh, for sure.
I know I just threw a lot of trial numbers at you, but
let me check. Am I following? Yeah, I think I'm following. Yeah, I followed that. Yeah, I followed that. We're good. So, Q, it looked like it looked like you were standing all of a sudden. So I decided to join you.
All of a sudden, I've been standing, brother. I got me my stand sit desk for Christmas. And I think I have sat at my workstation for like 10% of my time at it completely.
Dang.
Even when I'm like just chilling offline, like hanging out in chats, I'm still just standing.
All right. I mean, hey, I'm not upset with that. I of course love my sit stand desk as well. I had seen that you were standing, and I was like, you know what? That's a good idea, Q. I'm gonna do that too.
You know, it's interesting. gotten the desk here recently, and then we were talking about offline. You know that I'm gonna have the new bed coming to here soon too. Ooh, my body's gonna be feeling all sorts of nice. But anyways, back to the to the actual game that we've got going on here. It's worth noting that Remedy has been able to come out, you know, again in successive trials on the killer side and the survivor side, and coming out to a 15-point lead.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Definitely is. Definitely looks like Hookers is going to bring Tijuana in to play killer here. And we will see if Tijuana can go ahead and bring this back in for Hookers.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, especially because I would have to imagine you were probably anticipating a little bit stronger of a performance, bringing out a S tier killer in Blight. Especially knowing that was going to be completely consuming Blight. So unfortunate. RIP for, you know, the homie Blight Beezy. But now, with knowing you're at a 15-point disadvantage going into your last killer game, what's your thought process here?
Yeah, so, I mean... I feel like I might be spoiling things, but let me go ahead and just ask, you know, do you know what Tijuana is known for? Do you know? No? Okay, so Tijuana is a streamer, as you can see by Tijuana GTV there in the lobby. And they had a world record for a speed run for a certain killer. Then they're known to be pretty good at this killer. It is a S tier that is not Blight.
You know what's funny is actually as I was asking you, I noticed that they have not picked the other S tier at all.
Yeah.
The one that just recently got like quote unquote nerfed, right? No? We're talking about a different one. Because I would be consuming the other S tier if it's how about we just stop, you know,
I'm saying
around.
Nurse, dude. What are you saying?
Okay. I was talking about Spirit because I wasn't sure. They've already used Nurse once, and I don't know if you used Nurse and Blight on Dead Dog.
It depends. How important do they think this win is on their schedule?
I mean, that's also true. I feel like we got a little bit of insight on that just in the fact that they brought out Blight in trial number 2, I guess. Hold on, let's
fully consuming Blight right there. So they're already looking at this is possibly a make or break game.
I mean, I would say that they're not wrong there. I just feel like looking at the rest of their schedule, I don't know if I consume my Nurse here.
How many more home games do they have? How many more times do they come to this map?
The rest of their season's at home.
Oh. Okay. Heard. So I think that's a little tougher. I don't know that I would want to fully consume either.
I think Spirit here personally was my when I was handing it off to you, and then I was thinking because they haven't picked Spirit here.
I just, you know, so Tijuana I know as a really good Nurse main. I don't know of any other killers Tijuana plays. And that's kind of my thing. And so, like, every time I've seen Tijuana, I'm like, Nurse? And so, that's immediately what my reaction was. Maybe I'm completely off base, but that's, you know, that's what I'm thinking right now. But as it is halftime, let's go ahead and review what map we're going to. Once again, we are going to the Dead Dog Saloon.
Well, that's where you find the hookers, duh.
Oh my goodness, at the saloon? Oh, yeah. Why didn't you make the joke last time, man? That's so good. Missed opportunities. All right, sweet. I love it. I love it, though. I'm here for it.
It's I like, so it's interesting because Dead Dog is a smaller map, as we kind of saw come up there. Sometimes Hook Economy can be worried about, just because if where you have a, like, let's say your first elimination, whether it be in your 3 gen or by a door, could make for some spicy plays later. But otherwise, I feel like, other than the saloon, which you can kind of break that loop up by breaking a couple doors down, there aren't too many like extra strong loops on this map, right?
Right. And yeah, it really is kind of like main building, and then some people can loop shack a little bit more. Other than that, in shops, you're trying to get up the stairs and kind of vault over, but usually you give up a hit there.
Yep.
So, yeah, just kind of unfortunate.
But I did see we had all of our offerings and everything, our cut coins. So always good to see whenever we don't have any sort of violations there on that side. And you have everything intact the first time,
Right. Definitely, everything we needed to see is there. And hey, guess what? You know how I just started going to Bands and Builds? Canceled.
All right, well, I'm gonna be excited here. Let's take another trip back into the fog, and
Can I say I told you so?
Can't say you were wrong here. We are going to see the nurse. I think that, you were talking about it. I think that really shows for the hookers the importance of this games here. So at this point, really going to be hoping to find yourself a survivor very, very early, because you need to start the pressure from the word go.
Yep, indeed. And that's like I told you, as soon as I saw Tija's name, I was like, oh man, I think this is exactly what's about to happen here. Definitely, I'm here for it. Oh, blinking through, getting the scream and the hit on Nancy. Unfortunate for Nancy there. And I think this is the down. There it is.
Showing a lot of confidence with the successive blinks to be able to get yourself the down here. Just over 60 seconds in the trial here, so we still have quite a bit of time left on the corrupt intervention. You will notice the corrupt intervention here on kind of basically your water towers side of the map. You are going to be able to push up 2 very confident blinks, able to get the hit onto the Nia. Instead of going to take time to kick, you just continue the chase, baby, and that's another down onto the Nia here. We're gonna leave the Nia on the ground, try and see if we can find ourselves another survivor. Actually, we're gonna come to this outside gen with the kick. You will see an instant 25% regression with that. Pop goes the Weasel, and I think we're gonna see a slug play potentially.
Yeah, we actually saw that Zarina off in the distance there. I don't know if you saw, but they're trying to go back to that gen we just kicked.
Yeah, and this is tough here because we do see corrupt intervention will be coming off of those gens here at this second, but we do still see another pop kick. So the 2 gens that you can probably assume had the most progress on them have now both taken a 25% hit. That is very, very tough. Definitely what you're looking for. And, I wonder if maybe the pull to the nurse wasn't the plan, but was actually like the the second pull string on the parachute, because definitely coming out with a force here.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this was a uh-oh, Blight didn't do it for us. All right, we have to go ahead and go big or go home.
And now I can't help but wonder if maybe we see our survivors here try and prioritize generators. Get yourself a couple of guaranteed points. We do see, though, a very nice blink from the Gallows up to the saloon. They're able to get the M1 onto the Zarina, able to make it back. Not going to be able to get the grab, but we are going to get the M1 onto Jazzy, continuing the chase here with Jazzy also back into our corner. Not going to be able to set ourselves up for the swing, but actually get very good patience by Tijuana, as of course avoiding the swing does help you as far as that cooldown time just a little bit.
Yeah, we do see the little teabag there too. Jazzy going, hey, I got you twice. Come after me. And we'll see. Is this one more? No, we end up getting him here.
Yeah, very good. I believe that will actually now be a fresh hook onto Jazzy, if I am not mistaken here, spreading that pressure out here in the early game. Definitely what you were wanting to do here. If you're Tijuana, only one generator has been popped for 3 hooks. Very, very good early game.
I also gotta say, do you notice the aura readings we're getting?
I did not notice that.
Every time a hook is happening, I'm seeing aura readings of survivors.
Oh, we are seeing some. Wait, are we in a pub match? Barbecue in Compolo?
I was gonna say, I was like, wait, that's interesting. But wait, I don't see Undying. But wait, that's barbecue?
Yeah.
So yeah, we are seeing barbecue right now. We had people pointing out like, hey, I don't see double recharge on this nurse. Well, that's not the only thing you don't see on this nurse. This nurse is going ahead and showing you, hey, you don't got to be meta nurse to be able to do okay in comp. Look at the performance right here. Definitely keep an eye on this because right now nurse is doing well.
Yeah, now at this point, I would say this last like 25, 30 seconds here is the longest that we have not had somebody on a hook since the first time we've had somebody on a hook. So our survivors pushing back with a little bit of pressure here. Oh, and a very nice,
my goodness,
very nice flash grenade there. I guess that was probably the firework.
It was the winter party starter. Oh man. That's amazing drop right there, like exactly how you needed it. Likely gonna see a swing and a miss. That's not what I was gonna say, but that's what happened.
Yeah, now the good news here for you, if you are Tijuana right now, the person that you are taking chase with, although they were fully healthy, it is your only survivor that you have not been able to hook yet. And I mean, since we're clearly going for blood points here with the barbecue and chili, we're gonna get our 4th stack, which is absolutely huge.
Yeah, it is pretty huge. Go ahead and get those blood points, and then like somebody said, actually one of those offerings that that has been brought by the nurse also gives plus 100% blood points in the devious category.
Oh yeah, the one with that's causing the screaming. I didn't even think about that, but we do see actually a survivor jumping down from the saloon. I do believe that was the Nia, if I'm not mistaken. However, we are now going to see that pop goes the weasel. We were also seeing a little bit of a prevention of the blink with a flashlight from behind. However, not going to be enough to stop Tijuana from putting pressure over here. Now taking chase at the shack. Going to be seeing a double back here by our Nancy. Will be able to cause a little bit of extra time to be bought. Now going back towards the water tower here. Basically just holding shift W into the corner, trying to delay this down as much as possible. Man, we're talking about now hook state number 5, and we have yet to see a second gen pop.
Yeah, but we've got a couple close, so it'll be interesting to see. Although we are about to have another whole charge of pop, and with that barbecue and chili, you can see the double up on the gen up there. They do get it done. We see Deadlock coming in as well, so this is gonna keep him. Oh, jeez. Unfortunately, getting stunned.
Oh, get stunned, stupid. Plus 10 wood to the face. However, Jazzy making the wrong decision of which way to go, so we'll still be getting smacked around by Tijuana. There's the first M1. Now going to be following up after a simple single blink. We'll be securing another down onto Jazzy as we do see the unhook coming in across the way here. Now with Jazzy, this will be hook number 2 for Jazzy here. Also keeping in mind that we have Alex now, or Alexi, I should sorry, we'll say is now going to be able to be tunneled out whenever they are, or I shouldn't say tunneled out, but removed from the trial whenever they're spotted next.
For sure, and I mean being at, I was gonna say 3 gens, I mean 2 gens. Oh, hey, wait a minute. It looks like this 99 gen over here isn't able to be kicked, and it's getting deadlocked, and it's the only one staying deadlocked, and it's got a lot of progression on it. That seems like a pretty good counter to me.
Yeah, if I had to guess, you probably had some a couple of survivors just spreading pressure. I wonder if maybe the goal was to try and prevent them from triggering a second deadlock. knowing that you have a hook survivor over here, because now you have some extra time to kind of grind out those other gens, knowing you only need 2 more to be done. And you're probably looking at Jazzy just being left up on the hook to hang out for the progression in the 3rd stage.
Yeah, I don't see any kinship here, and as there's no kinship, I think yeah, you will just see that progression happen.
And now here we do see Taken Chase over towards the Gallows. We do see the Gallows here at around 50%. We do see here continuing the chase back towards Shaq. Keep in mind, we've used a lot of the resources actually back in the corner that we're running away from. So very good map awareness here by our Nancy. Really good pallet throw and gonna be able to get the vault as well. Should be able to build a little bit of distance, but of course it is a nurse, right? So she can just kind of blink right back up onto you. We do see here going to the top of the saloon, back into the saloon itself, has kind of lost progress or lost a little bit of the track here, but you're still going to be able to track those screams through the wall because you have already been able to enter the survivor here.
Yeah, but Alexi's doing so good in chase, like making sure that Nurse is not gonna get this easy.
Yeah, Alexi definitely doing a very good job of keeping up the pressure as far as the run here. You're not having, I mean, what, you've used 1 pallet, I think, on this run so far that you vaulted back over.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're really just using the building here. So you're saving the last couple of resources that you do have left. And an unfortunate blink leaving Tijuana inside the building should allow you to actually build a little bit more distance, causing a little bit more guesswork as well.
Yeah, this is definitely this is looking good for Remedy. I would say actually in terms of keeping their lead, but at the same time there's still a lot of trial left. We do see the resets coming in just like you want to see, but I think we may see Zarina here fall, and soon.
Yeah, I mean, we do see at this point, this generator over here, this thing's knocking like a 4 in the middle of December. 4 pistons pumping pretty well fully on that thing. Probably less than 8 seconds worth of repair needing to be done for that one to be complete. And instead, actually seeing the 5th gen across the way getting done here. And of course, we've seen pretty well all of our perks. And we'll also notice on the right side of the screen, no haste status effect, which means no NOED. And wow, talk about if you can get 2, maybe even a 3 out on a nurse on Dead Dog.
Yeah, that would be pretty nuts, honestly. But just because Nurse is like very high mobility and doesn't care about the obstacles, honestly, this was a trump card. But the survivors, in fact, have already opened a door. That's 3 out territory right there.
Yeah, we're gonna see the 2 right away. That does mean now there could be a potential hatch in play here. We do see moving in just a little bit closer. That is going to be a down, though, unfortunately, onto Gamer Sharma here. And unfortunately, Sharma was already hooked once, but that does mean that the death hook will be a progression. So at least the death hook will be worth 2 points instead of 3.
True. Yeah, definitely these survivors played well. So did our killer here, of course. Killer had a lot of early game pressure and then just didn't hold it necessarily for late game.
Yeah, I feel like what we saw here is a very good example of what I've been seeing a lot of in competitive DBD, which is even if the killer does not seem to be making a lot of mistakes, if you cannot force the survivors to make mistakes and allow them to basically just hold M1 and hit some skill checks, man, you're in some trouble no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely I think that's what we just got to witness with our friend Tijuana. We are seeing 50-40 as the score currently right now. And we will see Remedy killing again, so this is going to be really, really tough for hookers.
Yeah, I mean, this is tough. That you talk about, you brought out Blight and Nurse in back-to-back sets or back-to-back matches after being down only 5 and you've actually let that lead be built to 10 after back-to-back killer games. That's tough.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also seeing the kind of Psychomantis poking a joke a little bit, going like, man, look, 28,000 blood points, but actually it's times 4 because we had barbecue and chili.
True,
we had the devious. Get all them blood
stacks,
points,
baby.
all those stacks. I mean, I'm just saying, like, along the same lines, I mean, maybe I would bring Stakeout, like, on the Survivor side. Like, why not, man?
Listen, man, I'm gonna need you to not act like Stakeout's, not huge value or anything over here. Okay?
Well, I mean, like, it's got value. It's just,
How much value is
the thing is, like, in comp, like, be honest with me, how much value it got?
True, though. Hey, you know what, though? What I am going to be excited about as a, one of the best gen jockeys NA is, at least now with the new changes coming through, when you are holding M1, you no longer have to hold M1. It's going to be beautiful.
Wait, whoa. What? I didn't hear about this.
The new changes with the toggle action in PTB?
I'm not sure I like that.
Why?
But,
Dog, let me pick my nose. I scratch my nose. Let me scratch my nose and not have to worry about a skill check popping up.
I just let go of the gen, my guy. I just let go of the gen. One should not have 2 hands in a generator and try to pick their nose at the same time. So
does that mean you also did not see the new wiggle mechanic?
I saw the new wiggle mechanic. I'm into that. My controller is also into that because I'm a controller gamer on Survivor. So I'm into that. I didn't see the toggle on there, and I'm unable to find any of these survivors for hookers, unfortunately. I don't know why they're not showing up as online for me. I see Tej.
Well, it's after 10, so make sure you go check around out back the saloon. Sometimes hookers out back there.
Okay. Yeah. So not in front, out back. Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha.
It's a little darker back there, so they got more space to do what they do. You know?
I got you. I understand. I mean, it's better than saying you'll find them at the corner, so,
True. Now, here's the question. With Remedy, a 10-point lead, do you potentially switch up from your game plan for Trial 4 and maybe do a potential burn away pick, since M1s tend to do better on this map anyways?
I don't think so.
No.
Because even with Jazzy on Cenobite, there were a couple good runs in there that, I mean, you had the lead initially, but really your survivors are what extended the lead in the first match, but then allowed for the lead to come back a little bit in the third match. So I think you don't switch it up. You stay with game plan here, based upon what's gone on.
So we called Cenobite.
Mm-hmm. I called Nurse.
You called Nurse. That was based off the killer though, and not based off of what we thought made sense on the map here. If we think about game plan, I still really like the idea of either Nemesis or Plague here, and I think I'm rocking the Plague train.
Plague, Twins, Nemesis, all of them are good. Let's go ahead and review some penalty rules, guys, real quick. For sure, if we do see anything that is against our Vigo's rules here, any matches that do have a penalty could be played out, restarted, or both. Things that could incur a penalty are like having 2 of the same survivor, having a banned item, perk, add-on, all of those will result in -5 points and a possible restart. Of course, we never want to see any penalties. We don't want to go to the wrong map. That would be -5 points and an auto restart. Definitely, you want to make sure you know who's on your roster, bring only players on your roster, and don't harass refs. That would result in -10 points. Using an exhausted killer, also -10 points. For more on these rules, exclamation point rules in the chat.
Don't ask me, ask your mama, or exclamation point rules in chat. That's right. Let's take another trip back into the fog. And Jazzy coming out with the Trickster. That is definitely not a pick that we brought up, but it's not a pick that I hate.
Yeah, definitely with what we're seeing right here, I don't hate that. Oh my gosh. That, like, kind of cracked, honestly.
And
oh
I mean,
my
let's
goodness.
not forget, I mean, we saw Trick Daddy Kane here get a 4K on ARP last week, which was turning some heads. So maybe Jazzy here can put on another nice performance. Going to be able to get the mind game. However, you were not able to guess the right way, allowing a little bit of distance here. Going to need to grab some knives as we do see the decay starting to go down there onto Bjorn, putting a little bit of that pressure down off there. And really here, definitely going to be seeing Jazzy, instead of continuing chase, going to be coming over towards the gallows and just pushing more people off of generators.
Yeah, keeping the gen pressure early, I think, is definitely going to be key, as what you're trying to prevent is for them to be able to try to make up a 10-point difference. A 10-point difference, I think they have to go ahead and get a 4 out. So if you can confirm a kill here, I think that's your win condition.
Yeah, and so we are going to see here again with the knives are going to be able to change a health state. Now we are 5 knives away from being able to get our survivor here onto the ground, trying to work back and forth. Nice knife there to avoid the decay. This is going to be one thing that can kind of work in this area, just kind of a little one here and there. And there's going to be the down onto the Claudette without even having to worry about the pallet.
Yeah, that is definitely unfortunate for our Claudette, but for Jazzy and the Trickster, this is exactly what you want to see, and we're taking them to basement early. As I talked about wanting to confirm a kill early, well, taking them to basement's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't lying there. And also, you'll see, though, Jazzy not too worried about the extra time on the back hook. Instead says, "Now we'll just put you on the front. Let me go ahead and grab these knives here real quick." Also breaking that shack there. That is one thing that is kind of nice about Dead Dog, is you can kind of break down a tile like shack that is generally a little bit of a stronger resource for the survivors.
For sure, and we are seeing like I mean, these gens are kind of still going, not the slowest, but we see a lot of progress on several gens.
Yeah, our survivors here definitely doing a very good job of spreading that pressure out, which is really what you would want to do against a Trickster anyways. You don't want the Trickster to come up and find 2 people on a gen and be able to change multiple health states, especially if they happen to go into you know, that nice little frenzy where you can really just put out a whole bunch of daggers in no time.
Yeah, we are seeing confirmed second state here. I'm gonna go ahead and reload. I think that Jazzy doesn't leave. I think Jazzy's gonna stay here.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Jazzy, I think I'm just going to go ahead and secure the kill. I don't think there's any reason to do anything other than that, especially because, as we've already seen, you do have the deadlock helping you out here. So that's going to at least help with a little bit of the process on those gens, because as one gets complete, at least the one that's most progressed gets blocked for a little bit.
Yeah, that's We hit one knife. We're 1 for what, 9? 1 for 9?
Hey, you know what though? I mean,
oh,
there's 2.
There's 2.
You know, we're halfway there. It does look like, though, Max should be able to get this gen up here complete. It is kind of interesting to see Jazzy not at least get a little bit closer to see if you can at least guarantee a state. There, though, now at this point, Mac is going to need to be careful. You do have 5 knives all the way together. Wouldn't want to give away a free health state by popping out there just a little too far and becoming too exposed to allow a health state change. We do I thought I had heard the Gallows gen getting worked on. It does seem like there's more progress on it. But I mean, our survivors need to make sure that Jazzy pays for the camp out. I'm not quite, although I think they needed all 4 outs. It's kind of interesting to see them just allow this.
Yeah, it is. They do finish both gens though. There were 2 gens needed. Did they simul finish?
I'm not sure if you simul finish or you just had 3 rushing there, but I mean, we're looking right now, and you can, well, if the score is correct right now, basically you cannot allow another hook state because you get 1, 2, and then 4, which would be a 1-point lead for the hookers here, which is tough.
Wait, you're not counting the bonus points for not being hooked and escaping.
Oh, true. So actually, even though you do take the down here, if you can find the NOED, you can. I think that can only be the last hook there, though, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
I mean, the 3rd escape is key, so definitely
Right.
you would have to. This person has to get out. They have to get this person out.
And unfortunately, you're gonna see here. I mean, you've got track of 1 door. You can see the totem is right in the distance. So I am getting if my math is right here, you can allow 1 more hook, which I think means if you can allow the progression and prepare them by getting it done, but instead, but with the progression here, with them taking it out, that will with them just taking the 2 out, that is actually going to secure things up here for Remedy. So playing it tough, but coming out with the Trickster, still being able to pull things home here is going to be Remedy.
Yeah, I was really thinking that that either Orange was gonna have the deli or something, and I thought they were gonna try to make a play for it, but we do see they just take the 2 out and go, all right, well, we'll be going on to next week.
That's wow, that's a I gotta feel like that's a little bit of a tough pill to swallow, man. You come out, you consume your last nurse pick,
Your last blight too.
your last blight, and you lose by only 6 points. That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I definitely say it is. That is heartbreaking for sure. You would hope that that's not the case, right? So
And I mean, honestly, though, with that being said, huge shout out to Remedy team, because you talked about Tijuana is a nurse main, a nurse that's known. You're still able to come out and still have a pretty good performance against that nurse, and as well as against the Blight, as well as obviously 2 strong killer performances. Just really an all around strong team game.
yeah, but I mean, like, as you're giving the props to Remedy, same thing on the hooker side. As you said, like, hey, you played 4 really good trials. Well, it's the same on the other side, because these teams are only separated by 6 points when everything's all said and done. That's pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is a good example of what we're seeing, I would say, a lot in competitive DBD right now, is the gap kind of closing between teams. We're seeing it really kind of turn into more of that, like, any given Sunday on any, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Anyways, but
pretty much all the days except for Sunday.
Right.
Yeah. All right, and so definitely we're getting ready to have our interviewee, and we actually have him right here. Jazzy, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Nice. Tired? Oh my goodness. Have you been up for a while?
I've been screaming since 4 p.m.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Getting super prepared. So definitely saw you bring a killer. Actually 2 killers. I haven't really seen you play very much. Like, is Cenobite somebody that you play often, or?
Yes. I
Yes. Oh,
I
nice.
picked him up recently.
Nice.
because he's the best. Okay, maybe not the best, but Cenobite is a lot of fun.
All right,
Jazzy,
yeah.
how are you feeling though? It seemed like you guys probably came in knowing kind of where you're at in the season, knowing that if you're gonna have a shot at the playoffs, it requires y'all pretty well winning out. Got to be feeling good coming out and picking up the dub today, right?
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's always nice to win. We've been having a bit of a losing streak, so it's nice.
Yeah, for sure. Like you guys are really getting in there, getting some momentum here with this win. Hopefully going to take it into the next week as well. And I mean, how did you feel going against Nurse with Anxious Gasp?
That was really odd. I'm trying to think of like what the idea was there. I don't know if it was like a meme or something, or I don't know. Barbecue as well. That was just very confusing.
Yeah, definitely got you guys screaming though. Definitely got you screaming. But I mean, still a really good performance from Tej on Nurse there against you guys. Did you guys how were comms during that match? Were you guys feeling a lot of pressure, feeling like you had to really recover, or like how are you feeling?
I mean, it was kind of expected because Nurse on DDS on these rules, like, it should be a 4K, but obviously, like, if the Nurse makes mistakes and the survivors play well, then you can't get outs, but
Right.
we were pretty calm about it.
I mean, I think we've heard that a bunch, Q, right? Like the survivors that get out are the survivors that stay composed, right?
I mean, that's for sure. And I mean, I think that was even something that we had seen from people in chat during the actual game itself. When we had brought up the barbecue and the add-on, was a lot of people were kind of anticipating that it should be an easy 4K. So honestly, very impressive to see you guys be able to turn it around and still be able to get a couple out there.
Yeah, for sure. Jazzy, do you have you got anything you want to say to the fans of Vigos, fans of Remedy, or to your opponents?
Trickster S tier. That's about it.
Oh my goodness, Trickster S tier. I think that you're gonna pull on some heartstrings of Little Rugard, but I don't know. Trickster S tier.
I mean, we saw him
get
get the 4K last week. We saw a really good performance from Trickster there too. I mean, I think we might be onto something here.
I'm gonna hold judgment. I think Trickster's definitely a lot better. I don't think S tier yet.
Oh, definitely not S tier.
Yeah.
I mean, with the right people though, you never know. I feel like that about a lot of killers though. You put them with the right people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, some people have really strong Evans. Some people.
True, though.
True. Right.
Nightlight Clown. What?
Oh man. All right, well guys, that is gonna be all from us today. We do see Remedy convicted of murder here, continuing our road to the final verdict here. We will have games tomorrow, and we have 4 games tomorrow, I think. So definitely you're gonna want to keep it here, and that's all from us. Q, you got anything else for us today?
Nah, man, just remember, with everything crazy going on in the world today, be true, be you, be sincere, and game hard, love hard. All right, y'all? Take it easy. Peace.